everybody, and I'm here today to talk to my friend Rochelle from the Plentiful Cup about her experience with transitions and anxiety and managing summer nerves, and she's going to join me in just a minute. If you missed the live yesterday, I would highly encourage you to jump on there and check it out. So Rochelle is here, and I'm going to add her to the live, and we're going to have a chat. Waiting for her to jump on. I just want to let you know that her work is pretty powerful. She does mostly work around post-production and through her own experience has really learned a lot and created a community with women who also share her experience around that and she's quite following. So we're going to have a little chat today. I wanted to over to her to talk to you about her experience around transition and anxiety. And what's been like for you and how you handle it and what you recommend to follow this policy.
Thank you, Shelby, thank you for having me today. Super excited. So basically, for me, transitions have always been hard. I think, after going through postpartum depression, I felt like transitions just got harder as I got older. With postpartum, I felt that was probably one of the biggest things that messed a lot with my head, was the changes and the transitions and trying to cope with that anxiety. I'm a person also, I've moved 20 something times. So I've moved a lot.
Wow.
And never was it so hard. We moved recently, like a few years ago, and I had kind of a bout with depression then as well, because of how I adapt and how I handle transitions when it comes to like my anxiety. My anxiety kind of spirals into this kind of down state, and just, I get kind of detached to try and power through things and just get everything done. And then it just, all the feelings just kind of pile up inside. So anyway, I've learned how to kind of cope with anxiety when it comes to transitions recently, I would say. Since I became a mom, particularly, because I feel like when you become a mom, you have to transition, not just you're transitioning your whole family, be it we moved across to another country. So like, be it a move or changing schools or, going up to the next grade or anything. All those transitions are rough. And I know that we tend to really focus on, I tend to focus a lot on my kids transitioning. And for us as moms, it's also very hard because it's kind of, a lot of it's on us to make sure the kids are okay and they're transitioning okay. And so that anxiety kind of take on I would say, not that I take on their anxiety, but we want to make sure that they're okay. And that can cause a lot of anxiety. Also for me, when we have these different changes, like when we moved across to another country, when you have to move, when you move anywhere, you have to find new pediatricians, new grocery stores, friends, your friends, the kids' friends, or the kids gonna make friends. How are you gonna adapt to that? Different play dates and after school activities. How do these things work in the new place where you live? So there's all these things, and we're always constantly transitioning in life. And I feel like, for me at least, I know that causes a lot of anxiety for me personally. So the biggest thing I think that I do to handle it now, what I realized, and it's gonna sound really odd, is I don't plan anything. So I try not to I try not to plan and sit there and go, okay, well, I have to get uniforms, so I have to do it this day, and I have to do that the other day, and I try not to think about it. If I start to think about it, I get really overwhelmed, and then I can't do it now. So it doesn't serve me in this moment. And that's kind of where my mindset starts to go with certain things. Again, when we moved, trying to find all the different, doctors and the grocery stores and the products, the grocery products are all different. I know it sounds really little, but it's like really overwhelming when you start to look into it. Figuring out how to do school uniforms, new schools, new languages, it's all very overwhelming. So when you start to think it all like saying it, where it just starts to pile on, pile on. Right now, in this second, I can't do anything about it. So I try to take it in pieces, and I go, okay, right now, what can I do? Let's say if right now I'm sitting here and I go, okay, well, I can go and get my kids' notebooks at Target, which is on the block. That I can do. So I will do that right now. I'm not worried about their uniforms that I need to get. I'm not worried about the fact that I have to go get their the medical papers. I'm not worried about any of that. Right now, that's my concern. And I know, like, at night, I don't know, at night, my anxiety kind of is the biggest thing that comes back to me is at night, where you start to kind of think of everything. So your mind just doesn't stop at night. It's like, well, I got to do this and that and the other. And I try to, the same thing. I just kind of go, well, right now in this second, I can't do any of that. So I can either write it down to do it eventually. I sometimes will put days on it and be like, okay, well, today I'm going to do this. Wednesday, I'm going to do that. Thursday, I'm going to do that. And I'll even put it in my calendar. But most of the time, like I said, I just kind of make a list, but I try not to look at it too much again, because I get pretty overwhelmed and anxious when I have all these things that just pile on.
Oh yeah. I love what you're saying. So because I think that it's opposite, but it's like way of looking at things that I normally teach my clients myself, because I always value preparation as being like the biggest tool for success in managing anxiety. But you're saying you're saying that you don't plan anything, but there must be some plan. So like wondering, have you been had like a list, like a master list, but then you just define on today I can do this. You break it down.
Right. So that's what I was. I think I was trying to get that idea where I have this. I'll have like the list. So I'll put, like I said, certain things on certain days, or have this list of the things I have to do. I have it on my phone. And I don't put necessarily a date of reminding or anything, but I have a list, and I'll go through it because I like to just have those checked off. It makes me feel very accomplished when I go through them and check them off. And I do, let me rephrase, I do plan some things. Those are those little things. When I say I don't plan, I mean like I said, when I start to think of things that I have to do, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, and I have to do the other, and I start to get overwhelmed, I kind of stop and go, okay, right now I can't do any of that. I can only do. So getting it kind of in pieces for me is easier than being like, I have to do all these things for either a big move, because I know a lot of people also, I say the move because I know a lot of people move over the summer before school starts. When they do a lot of moves, you know, I have to get all these things done before school starts. Okay, but what do you have to do right now in this moment? So I do have a master like list of things I have to get done. And as I start to think about them, I just put them in my phone and I forget about them.
Right.
So like at night, when I start to think of the things I have to do and I haven't gotten done, and I need to get done, I write it down on the list, and that list just starts to grow. And like I said, I try not to look at it too much because I start to get really overwhelmed. But I try to go at piece by piece. So like my phone has an app where it has like a to-do list, and I can just check off the things as they get done. I'm not super organized. I don't put it in different sections. It's just a list of things in the second that I think of it. So I can put it somewhere so I know it's somewhere, but it doesn't have to be kind of in my mind at the moment if it's not serving me in the moment.
What is the name of that app?
It's just that I have an iPhone, so it's but I think there's like a whole bunch of different apps that you can use.
Okay.
Yeah, like a reminder. I think it's called Reminders on iPhone. Yeah, it would be on the other phone.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a little bullet points, and you can just write it down. You can add dates and times if you need something. That's also my app for anything I need reminding. If I do have appointments and things, and it's the best, because honestly, it's the second I think of something, I even say, hey Siri, you know, can you add this reminder or whatever, so that I can get it kind of out of my head, and that helps my anxiety because it helps my mind kind of just focus on what it needs to focus on in the moment.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds to me like you're saying it's like the things down on the big list, the chunks of things, and breaking it down into for the day,
for the day, and even into the moment.
so how
So
you're
how
managing
you're
your
managing your
anxiety
anxiety
and reducing
and
the
reducing the
overwhelm
overwhelm
is just
is
keeping
just
things
keeping
small
things small
in the
and
moment.
in the moment.
Right, exactly. So I try to just, like you said, biting off pieces that I can chew is much easier than trying to eat the whole thing or take on the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just trying to go point by point and get it done as I can get it done. So trying to focus on the fact that, look, if it doesn't need to be done right now in this instant, in this moment, it's not completely urgent right now, it's okay that it waits. You know, same thing. When you're in the middle of doing something, and something comes up, and then all of a sudden you have this plan for your day. Let's say you had this plan and you're like, I'm going to do these 5 things. And then all of a sudden, you know, your kids are in camp and they got sick and you have to pick them up and bring them home. Now you have to get those things done because, well, you know, your kids are sick, and now what are you going to do? And trying to just take those things and being able to push them back and being okay with pushing them back and saying, you know what, this is priority or this is priority and this is priority. But these 5 other things, if I get them done today, great. If I don't, that's okay too. And being okay with that feeling of being okay with that. You know, when I had a lot of anxiety, especially when we first moved here, and when I went through postpartum, I had a lot of OCD, and it was very much like I had to work on these things. I had to get these things done. If I do not get these things done, the world is going to just come to an end. I mean, different thoughts that go through your mind. So it was a lot of obsessive behavior. And I tried to break away from that also by making, like you said, making these lists and saying, okay, here's my master list. These are things that I can do today. And then maybe add these 2 more. If these 2 don't get done, it's completely okay. These 2 do have to get done today because, I don't know, today's the last day I can do it or whatever it is. And just try to take it little by little. Or even if it's just, you know what, I did 3 out of the 5 things. The other 2 are not. Not necessary today, it's okay, and I can take a break. That's a huge thing for my anxiety.
I like how you were saying that you're acknowledging your progress and also your like the positives, right? Acknowledging the things that you've done well. You said that twice now, I think, where you say like, it's okay that it isn't like this time. I can do more. Or acknowledging the things that you have done well. Like, I've got 3 of these things out of the 5 done today, and that's good enough for today. So it sounds like you're really good at speaking well to yourself and acknowledging maybe you didn't get all 5 things done, but that's just the way it is, and you're okay with it, and you're putting it for tomorrow.
It took me a long time to get to that point because, like I said, when I went through postpartum, so I had postpartum depression, and I had kind of what I like to call like a side dish of anxiety and OCD as well.
Right.
And it's hard because you start to get all these thoughts, and everything's just negative and bad and awful. And we're human; we can only do so much. And so every time my brain starts to kind of go into that dark place, you know, it's speaking positively and doing those things like you said, where it's like, well, you know what, I got 3 out of 5, or I got 2 out of 5, and that's good enough. And learning to just, after you do it a bunch, it just kind of becomes habit. So there are days when I still get really overwhelmed, and there's days when I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't get anything that was supposed to be done, and this is awful. But then there's also a lot of days where I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Right. It's okay. Right. It doesn't make me a bad person. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. But it does take some time to get used to. But the more I feel that I've done it, and the more that I feel that I say that to myself of like, you know what, this is what I got done today, and that's okay. And moving on, the more my brain is used to hearing that, and the more that I feel it. You can start to feel it because your mind is really powerful. So the more you say it to yourself, the more you'll feel it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I love what you're saying about that. Speaking kindly to yourself is sort of one of the things that each of my new courses it's really important. And I call them affirmations or kind of speaking to yourself as a really spiritual friend. So kind of coming up with a few little phrases that are really kind of fit your lifestyle. I usually say things like, I can do hard things, even though I didn't get all these things done, I did these things really well, or, that I made this mistake, but it doesn't make me a bad person. So I, putting up a 3 or 4 little phrases, affirmations that you have committed to memory, or in your phone, or wherever, that you can repeat them over again, and then change your anxiety because you're tricking your brain into thinking, and you said, it becomes habit. And that's what we're going for. That's self-care too. Like, this is a part of self-care. We start to learn how to speak for ourselves in a kind of way. It helps our brains to understand what we're saying and make it connections much quicker than we were in the past.
I think we had spoken before about how self-care, for me, self-care is huge. Yeah. So, as you see on my social media, my blog, the biggest thing that I think has gotten me to help balance out my mental health is learning when I need self-care. And a lot of those times when I go through these anxious phases, during these like transitional phases, sometimes I get kind of lost. So I'm much more aware of it now. That I'm much more in tune with myself now to go, no, wait, I'm about to have like complete burnout from anxiety and from stress. I need to take a minute. And it's okay. Whatever it is, the same thing. That thing that I have to do will be there when I get back. And it's okay. And if it doesn't get done, it's okay. The world will not come to an end and everything will be fine. But I need that self-care and that what we were talking about. It's not manicures and pedicures and just, it's sometimes it's sitting and sitting outside and listening to silence. And sometimes it's reading a book. Sometimes it is with a friend, or like you said, sometimes it's sitting down and meditating. I'm a good person. I can do this. It doesn't, just because it didn't get done right now does not mean it won't get done. Just because it won't get done at all doesn't mean that anything bad is going to happen. Right. And trying to find those affirmations where you can sit here and fill your cup, as I like to say. So you kind of fill your cup, and then you're better able to take on your day, take on everything that you have to organize or do or whatever, and better care for you, better care for your family and everyone around you. So that self-care is super important also, I think, when it comes to, especially these moments of anxiety, especially now, like right before school starts, where everyone's like, we've got all the school supplies on that list, and we have to figure out what the activities are going to be, and the sports, and the, whatever it is, and what's this friend doing, or what's, all those things. I try to, again, the same thing, I take it on one day at a time. So a few days ago, I went and got the shirts they have to wear for school. Then I still have to return some things. So I was going to, I'll do that tomorrow. There's little things where I'm like, it doesn't have to be done all the same day, all at the same time. And it'll be okay. And some people work better that way. Some people are like, I can do 20 things today and better, and that way I can rest tomorrow. Also, that's perfectly fine. So you just kind of find what works best for you in the moment.
Maybe there's meals for you. I consider self-care. What are like the two things that you do every day to make sure you take care of you?
So I try to, let's see. My top two that I do every day, I would say, is that thought. I actually go, I'll go to, I don't know, I guess I kind of change every day now when I'm thinking about it. But like I try to either go to a yoga class, because I like to do yoga if I have the time. If not, even something as simple as I'll come home after I drop the kids and I'll have coffee and it'll be quiet, or just sitting and just kind of looking, just kind of sitting and thinking about what I have to do during the day, and going through my schedule, just kind of quietly. That's a huge thing for me. I also like to go, like I'll get coffee and go sit in carpool. Sometimes I have to wait long times in carpool, and that's a huge self-care. As some people I feel like are like, what, carpool self-care? That doesn't make sense. Oh yeah. But it does, because it's kind of like a quiet time in the day where I can't do anything.
I take a nap in my house a lot.
I love it. A lot of them not possible like, so people like put up the thing in the front of their car and they just lay down and take a nap. Some of us hang out with coffee. Some of our time for coffee together. So, but it's really fun. And then just, you can't do anything. You have to sit there. So you have to make your mind to just quiet and calm and stop thinking because there's nothing in that moment. That's also the time I use to also go through the list and say, okay, I love it. What things do I have to add? You know, and things like that. But I try to take like 5 minutes to do that. But I definitely, every day I try to tell myself, you know, I try to remind myself I'm doing the best I can, and that is as good as I can do. And that's one of the things that I do, I think, every day. Try to think that way and just go, you know what, parenting is hard, and life is hard, and being an adult is hard, and that it's hard, you know, it's normal that it's hard, and no one has it figured out.
That's right.
And we do the best that we can. So I try to remind myself that I definitely try to remind myself daily. Because I think so, yeah.
So just like wrap up and kind of close out and summarize, you know, you guys talked about starting from the beginning of the year, sort of two ways when your life transition to, you said not have a plan. That's not really what you have, but that's not really what you have. I think you just plan. Have a plan, and then kind of put it aside, and then kind of work on it aside, in small chunks, maybe each day, and then maybe each hour, and then secondary to that is to really reflect on yourself about the process of something cannot get done for a variety of reasons, be it schedule or time or whatever, and you just reflect on it and say to yourself, I think, time just down, it's fine. And you also say, I see all these things on my list over here, but there's nothing I can do about all of those things right now. I'm just going to focus on those one or two things and get those done. And then I love yourself as finding those I have this 5 ways to do organization. It really goes into too. Talk a little bit about positive affirmations and also self-care in a way, finding that space for yourself, breathing techniques, exercising, things like that. So I would like to kind of share, and definitely you are managing your transitions after it ends. I think anybody who has moved that many times could write the book on transition anxiety. So it sounds like you're doing really well.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for this today. Definitely.
You're welcome. I think you for joining me. I really enjoy your Instagram. Can you tell everybody where to find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, or on my blog. Instagram and Facebook under The Plentiful Cup, and then my blog is www.theplentifulcup.com.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to put in the description. You can access that and follow you as well. So thank you so much for today. And this wonderful conversation about some of the anxiety around as we get about other women who feel confident and comfortable in their mind as they transition themselves. I look forward to it in the future.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Shelby.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good night.